I hope everybody can hear me. Um, Welcome to today's live stream. We're going to go over the myths about homeschooling. I hope everybody hasn't been enjoying the holiday season and getting some time in with their friends and their family. And thank you all for being here. So, let's get into it. If anybody drops in and has a hard time hearing me, just let me know in chat. But we're just going to get into it. So, myths about homeschooling. When I first started homeschooling, I was bombarded with people telling me things about homeschoolers. And over the years, I have come to the conclusion that 99% of the things people say are not true. So, myths about homeschooling. Oh, and I also want to take this time to I'm kind of going over my blog right now because I already did a couple posts about myths about homeschooling, so I'm just using them for basically notes. I have a link in the description below for my blog and my Facebook page and my Twitter. If you're interested to go over there and follow me and support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Sharing it, getting it out there to educate other parents about homeschooling. So, the first and biggest myth about homeschooling is homeschoolers have no social skills. And this is something I think I've heard like just about everybody say to me. Homeschool kids don't get to socialize, they have no social skills. And that is basically why they encourage people to send them to public school. Now, first off, my first reaction is, why send a child to public school just to socialize? Isn't school supposed to be a place of learning? But anyways, let's get into it. People go on like the only way you can learn how to talk to other people is through public school. I went to public school when I was a kid, and anybody that has been to public school will know you meet lots of children that some are very sociable kids and make lots of friends, and there are kids in school that are antisocial, as you would call them. They have no social skills. They're classified as nerds, losers, loners. They get picked on in school. So not everybody that goes to public school learns social skills. Some and a lot of children learn bad social skills from schooling, like bullying, picking on other kids. And many kids find themselves having to conform to peer pressure, so you're able to fit in and have friends. Kids will pick on you because of the clothes you wear, the way you look. Kids are pressured into doing things they do not want to do. Bullying in school is a big problem. There's not enough supervision in public school, and those that don't fit in get bullied and teased and go through school having a hard time making friends, which leads to having poor social skills. Parents have an impact on their children, and they can socially build up their child to have confidence, and that's a big part of our jobs. Like, the thing I like about homeschooling is I can raise the kids to stand up for themselves and to express who they are. They get a chance to grow and learn and become people without being influenced by peer pressure, bullying, all of the negative side effects of school. They become the people that they want to be without any pressure. And I really like that about homeschooling. And one thing I've learned over homeschooling is you can have plenty of opportunities to get your children in activities so that they can socialize with other kids. And public school does not have enough supervision. And kids, you'll notice like kids that are in elementary school, like primary through grade 6, are very impressionable. Like I don't know like how many times when I was a kid I would just try to be the person that others would like. Instead of being myself, I became a person that people would like. And it kind of holds you back to forming your own interests and your own thoughts. So my kids have been growing and learning to be their own people. They're not influenced by anybody, and they're very smart, and they know what they like, and they don't allow other people to influence what they like. And I really like that about my children. Social skills is just one of the many skills a child needs to learn to live in the world. And social skills can be learned through play dates, trips to the playground, meetups with other homeschoolers, enrolling your children in music classes and sports teams, and as they grow and they become interested in things like an instrument or a sports team, and you get them involved in that, or you set them up with Girl Guides or Scouts or whatever you feel is best for your child, they will meet other kids and they will get to have hangout times with other children and learn social skills. And another thing too is like I have 5 children, so they have to deal with each other on a daily basis, and they learn how to build relationships between each other. They learn how to socialize with each other, and they realize when they make each other upset and when they make each other happy. So they're learning social skills just amongst themselves, like amongst the 5 of them. And and they're also building relationships with each other, which I really like. Like if I was to send them all to public school, they'd be all separated into different grades. So they would spend a lot of their times, 5 days a week, um, like 7, 8 till 3 o'clock separated from each other. And that doesn't leave a whole lot of time for them to be hanging out together, learning together, playing together, and building strong relationships. I have 2 sisters, well, 4 sisters, 2 half sisters, but I grew up with 2 sisters from my mom, and we now don't talk to each other. We were separated all of our childhood. Like we went to school. I was in like a different school from them because I was older. And then after school, I had my activities that I went to, and weekends I had my friends I hung out with. I never built any relationships with my siblings, and that's really sad, and I don't want to see that for my children. I like how they learn together and they play together, and I like seeing how close they are with each other. And when we go on camping trips, you see them helping each other and going off and playing and building together and working together. And that's what I want for my children. I want them to build up relationships with each other, because family is ultimately the most important thing. Um, Let me see here. So if you want to read more on learn more about social skills and homeschooling, I have made a blog post up about it. It is called "Do Homeschool Kids Have No Social Skills?" And I have a few points and information in there if you'd like to go and read it about that, and some of the things I just discussed about social skills. So that's one of the myths I find surrounded by homeschoolers, is they have no social skills, and I believe this myth to be false, because there are plenty of homeschoolers out there that have plenty of social skills. There are homeschoolers in history that have become presidents, prime ministers, all different positions in government. Uh, there's homeschoolers out there that have created businesses. And so if you search it out and see like how many actual homeschoolers are in the world doing really good for themselves and made good money at doing good jobs, you will see that that's a myth. Homeschoolers do above average. Actually, it's found that homeschoolers learn better than public school children because they're in an environment where they get one-on-one most of the time. But that's more of the myths of this home discussion. Myths about homeschooling. Number one, homeschoolers just play all day. Now, this couldn't be further from the truth. From when I get up in the morning till I go to bed, I'm usually pretty busy. Considering I have 5 kids, I have to prepare meals, I have to make sure the kids are dressed and cleaned, face washed, hair brushed, teeth cleaned, and then I have classes I have to start in the mornings. There are chores to be done throughout the day, laundry and dishes that have to be kept up. The rooms need to be organized and cleaned on a daily basis because there's 7 people living in this house, and it can get crazy if we don't keep up on the chores. I'm sure other parents can understand that. There's shopping and paying of the bills, appointments that I have to get to, like with 5 kids. That's a whole lot of doctor and dentist appointments throughout the year that I have to keep up on. And so as a stay-at-home mom, I have many jobs throughout the day. It's not a 9 to 5 job, that's for sure. It's when you open your eyes in the morning till you go to bed at night kind of job. You're constantly busy, you got things to do, classes to plan, chores to be done, floors to wash, etc., etc., etc. Homeschool moms work very hard to take care of their family and to make sure everybody's healthy and happy and learning. So I really give courage or props to all these women out there that are homeschooling their kids. Like it's sometimes a hard job, and they put a lot of work into it, and it's good for them. So the myth number 2 is parents are not qualified to teach. Now, parents are actually the most important teachers in a child's life, and they have always been. Parents are the ones who taught their children how to walk, talk, and eat. Right from day one, right from the moment you're born, your parent is teaching you things, so you're constantly learning from your parents. Children look to their parents as an example when learning how to function in society. They pay attention to how we interact with people, how we handle responsibilities. In many ways, parents are the most qualified people to teach their children because trust and support have already been established. Also, with homeschooling, there are many online programs that parents can choose from to help educate their children. Here in Canada, where I live, there is 2 different types of programs. There's the homeschooling, the regular homeschooling, where I am free to teach with the child with the curriculum I choose. I have no obligation to the schools. They do not have to be monitored, or I don't have to be checked up on by the ministry of the school I register with. And then there's the Distributed Learners Program, where parents teach their children with the support and professional guidance of a certified teacher through the school they are enrolled with. So the school provides them with a teacher to meet up with, and the teacher provides classes and a schedule and curriculum and all that stuff. So there are two different options that you can go with when you become a homeschooler. You can choose to go on your own, or you can get help from a school that you are registered with. And myth number 3: if you homeschool, extracurricular activities are unavailable. Now, this simply is not true. With the school I register with, there are many extracurricular activities available all year long. Also, homeschooling actually frees up more time for a child to be involved in activities in the community. Instead of having typical school hours holding them back, homeschool children will have extra time to play, relax, work on homework, learn new skills and hobbies, participate in extracurricular activities later in the day with their friends. When going to public school, there is a great deal of time spent settling down the students and setting up for 30 plus kids. It's much easier to manage your own kids than it is a class. Now, myth number 4: homeschool kids don't learn. Every child is different, and and how each child understands and absorbs new information is unique. So you can adjust your class to each child you teach. You notice this in public school, which is usually why you see children in the class far ahead than others, and other children who have fallen far behind. A teacher often has to teach a class of 30 plus students and has to stay on a specific schedule. It is hard for one person to customize a lesson for 30 plus different children, and in a homeschool setting, it is different. My homeschool class, for example, right now is mostly 3 of my children who are school age, which is far easier to manage lessons to fit around the way they take in information and how much they can absorb at a time. Homeschooling provides a customizable way of teaching and learning for the children, which can help them learn at a faster rate than other public school children. It also means that your homeschool child experience isn't about what is best for all, but what is best for the specific child. So the next myth is, if you're homeschooled, you can't get into college. In fact, homeschoolers have a higher rate of attending college than any other group of children. They say 66.7% of homeschooled children, compared to 57.5% of traditional public school children, go to college. So there are more homeschooled children that attend college than public school children. Some top-tier colleges like Yale, Dartmouth, UC, Berkeley actually seek out homeschooling children and accept them at high rates. These schools recognize the unique qualities and skills that such children often possess, such as being self-motivated and self-disciplined. And I have here in my blog some people that you might not know actually that were homeschooled. John Adams, Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin, C.S. Lewis, Abraham Lincoln, Joseph Priestley, Frank Wright, Charles Dickens, Albert Einstein, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and there's a few others. See, a lot of these people are scientists, famous people, presidents, and they all were homeschooled. So homeschooled children are a big part of society. So next time you see or hear of a parent talking about homeschooling, don't be so quick to judge that these people are weird or stupid or socially awkward, because in most cases that's not the case at all. Now, the next myth: homeschoolers don't learn how to function in the world. Well, based on the examples I just gave you of some homeschoolers, you can pretty much see right there that homeschoolers can function in the real world. Homeschoolers spend a lot of the time in the world instead of being in a building, sitting behind a desk most of the year. We all know what that's like. September to June, you're for 8 hours a day, you're sitting behind a desk when you should be running and getting exercising and doing some more hands-on learning. Homeschoolers are out traveling, spending time at parks, museums, historical sites, the list goes on. Homeschoolers tend to take far more field trips than public school students. And me being a public school student when I was a kid, know that this is the case. I might have gone on like less than a handful of field trips throughout the 12 years I was in school. And my children have gone on dozens and dozens of field trips, and they're just in the first few years of school. They interact with many people all the time. Homeschoolers do not spend all day every day inside the house. In reality, they are outside more than people think. When other children are cooped up in a single room all day, homeschoolers are out and about interacting with their community. Because they have more flexible schedules, they may also have more opportunities to volunteer at local shelters, nursing homes, or get involved in community activities. They also have the ability to participate in and travel for team sports without missing schoolwork. I am able to do a lot with my kids throughout the week because we are not bound to a specific schedule. We have the flexibility to take schoolwork anywhere. This also makes things like doctors and dentist appointments easier. I don't have to drag my children out of a dentist or out of school to go to a dentist or doctor's appointment. We don't have to worry about taking a child. Children also learn a lot from their parents. They learn how we live and survive in the world. They learn about the day-to-day responsibilities. By the time your child is old enough to leave the house, you will have taught them enough to live and function in the world. You love your children and want them to succeed in life. Homeschool parents take this responsibility very seriously. Next myth: few people homeschool. This is another misconception. There are many homeschool families all over the world. There is well over 60,000 children registered as homeschoolers in Canada. Around 2.5 million children in the United States are homeschooled. There are other countries where children are homeschooled, but I'm unable to find a number of how many homeschooled children there are in the world. There are many countries in the world where parents do not have the right to choose to homeschool their children. We should be thankful we live in a free country where we have the choice of how we want to educate our children. If you would like information about the statistics of homeschooling, if you go to my blog called Myths About Homeschooling, there are some links in the blog. Will take you to some sites that have statistics about homeschoolers versus public schoolers. Next myth. This is the last one too, so after this myth we are done, and I will put on another video. Homeschool children turn out to be weird or awkward. We already touched on this subject a little bit. The way children behave in different environments has a bit to do with how they are raised, but it's also a lot about who they are individually. There are homeschooled children who are cooler and a few who are quiet and more reserved. This is just a reflection of their personalities and nothing to do with where they go to school. Same goes with children in public school. Some are more popular and some are outgoing, some are quiet and conservative. Each person has a different personality, different likes and dislikes. So we have gone over 9 different myths about homeschooling. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in chat, or after the video, leave them in the comments down below. I hope you all enjoyed the video and my discussion on myths about homeschooling. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please subscribe, and down below there's links to my Facebook page, my blog, and my Twitter. So you can follow me on any of those. My blog has a bunch of talks about homeschooling in it, so there's a lot of information there. You can keep up with what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. Thank you all for joining, and I'm going to play the ending to the video. And also, yesterday I posted our Christmas special. If you're interested, that's on my channel. You can go check it out, what the Acker family did for Christmas. So thanks again for tuning in, and have a good day.
When life keeps falling and wonder where he is in all this mess, he's right there to guide you. Unseen, you're not alone. His light shines on the past that we're not shown. Lord, from this storm, as it poured, you made it pure. In an overcrowded mind, the hurt brings us down to where we reach for Him. Our God above has hands to heal, saves us from our faults and fears, giving us the peace that we so desperately need. Give me shelter, Lord, from this storm. As it poured, you made it pure. Jesus bids us to call on Him. His peace and love are shelter from this storm. I can't see you on my darkest night, with hands held over me when I can't fight. If time has taken me, all that I have, it's you who rescues me. Give me shelter, Lord, from the storm. As it poured, you made it pure. Jesus